Hey everybody, welcome back to What Are You Chasing? I have a special announcement. Today with me, by the way, I am your host. Now I am one of your co-hosts. I have a brand new permanent co-host that will be with me. She's been on here a couple of times, but she will always be with me every time. Jen. Hi,
Hi,
Jen.
everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Crystal. I love doing these with you. I love our other one, and I'm so excited about where this is going to go with What Are You Chasing?
Yeah, it's so fun. I'm so beyond thrilled that you're doing this with me. And yeah, because when we talk, because okay, everybody, Jen and I are really good friends. And so whenever we talk, it's just, I know that you have like kind of the same vision I do as far as like this podcast and stuff. So you're just a perfect fit that should be here all the time with me. So yeah, so today I thought that I don't know if I've ever done it before. And if I did, it might have been on one of like the first episodes or something. But I thought that Jen and I would talk a little bit about the title of this podcast. What does it mean when we say, "What are you chasing?" Right? And I don't know if you want to jump in or I'll start.
Well, I can jump in that. Let's see, what are you chasing? My whole life, I was chasing something. I was chasing acceptance. I was chasing being good enough. I was chasing, you know, it, I was always chasing. It didn't matter because even when I got what I thought I was chasing, it didn't fill me up. It didn't give me what I thought I would get.
Right.
So it just led into more chasing. Oh, well, that didn't work. So maybe, maybe my cat is going to be obnoxious right now. I'm sorry. We're in her room and she has just decided for the first time that she is going to play with all of her toys.
Hey, that's okay. You know what? If Mystic wants to make an appearance, so be it. There's a reason for it. I no, so I like where you went with that because that's exactly like what I think about, right? What are you chasing? And a lot like what you said, the things I was chasing were, approval. Um, I was chasing, you know, even to put more of a label on it. I was chasing, the perfect life, the perfect relationship, the perfect house, the perfect whatever. Not ever realizing that when, I'm achieving the things I'm achieving and getting the things I want to get, not to say that I always did, but let's say when I did, I never, it was always, like you said, there was still something else. There was something else to be chasing. There, okay, well, I finally found the perfect man and we have a beautiful family. So now what? Now what? Because aren't I supposed to be fulfilled at this point? Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
from there, yeah, go ahead.
And it was always something different. Well, if I had a better car, if I had a
Hmm.
better job, if yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just, it was a never ending thing because no matter, sorry,
You're good.
no matter how close I got, no matter what I achieved, it would feel really good for like 5 seconds. And then it's like, okay, is that it?
Right.
Now what? Now what? Now what
Yeah.
am I going to chase? Because if I wasn't, another thing that I got stuck on was if I wasn't chasing something, then I wasn't doing something.
Yeah. You weren't progressing, so
I
to
wasn't
speak.
growing, I wasn't progressing, I wasn't
Yeah.
doing anything if I wasn't chasing after something.
Yeah. And so for me, it never occurred to me when every time I would reach, let's say, a destination, right? Of, oh, I'm chasing after this, I got it, destination achieved. Here's the next thing. Let's go after that. It never ever occurred to me to stop for a minute and think, why is it every time, kind of like you were just pointing at, why is it every time that I achieve something, I'm still feeling like I need to be achieving something else? As if there was still something missing, as if what I was chasing didn't completely fulfill whatever it is I thought I was looking for.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And answers, like I was always chasing answers too. And I didn't even know what the questions I was asking, that I was searching for the answers. But I just felt that I wasn't good enough. And so that I had to chase something to become worthy, to become accepted, to become okay with who I was.
Yeah, I can relate to that 100%. Yeah. And I think a lot of people can relate to that because it's what we do. It's what we do from a very, very young age. At least, if I'm reflecting on it and thinking about it, gosh, if I try to pinpoint where did that start, right?
At the very beginning, okay.
Yeah.
So something like that with how we watch, how we decide what we decide is normal, something that's super been fascinating for me has to be been to watch my youngest son. So my youngest son has level 2 autism. You look at him, you're not going to tell. He can do things, but I watch him and I watch the way he watches movies. I watch the way he watches people react to things. When we watch a movie with him, he likes to make sure he's seen the movie because he watches us watch the movie to gauge his reactions off of how we react. And that got me thinking the other day, and it's like, so he's chasing approval and trying to be normal, and he watches all these other people do it and then tries to find, and that broke my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
That broke my heart a little bit. Like, it's a double-edged sword because he wants to fit in. He wants to hang out with all the kids at school. He wants to do things, but he feels him showing up as himself is not good enough. So he's chasing the how to life. There is no how to life.
Mm-mm.
And so I guess my big thing has been helping him see that he doesn't have to react like everybody else. He doesn't have to fit into these standards that we as a society have made,
Bingo.
because there's a reason he doesn't fit into that. The things he sees, the things he creates, and the things he makes,
They're amazing.
95% of people can't do that.
I can't.
I can't, you know?
Hmm.
It's like I don't see the duck in the piece of wood that I'm trying to turn into the duck. I don't see it.
Right. Yeah, I get
and
it.
and so it's like I'm not even sure where all I was going with this.
Well, you know what? I love what you brought up kind of there because it's a huge part of what are we chasing and why we're chasing, so to speak, the wrong things, the things that are unfulfilling, the things that are not going to bring what we're actually looking for, and that is social norms, trying to fit in, social conditioning. It's those things. It's from when we're little and we're told, this is what you do to have a happy life. You Mystic's having a good time. Look, Mystic is having a wonderful time. She does not care, and I love it.
Hey, she
That's
made the jump from the table to her cat tree with only throwing my phone and a notebook off the table.
beautiful. What a good job. I wish we would have got that on video.
It was pretty funny. Oh,
Anyway, so yeah, it's the social norms. Like you know what, Mystic, thank you for what a beautiful example. Like thinking you have to have everything perfect. I don't give a shit if Mystic wants to throw shit around and make noise and make an appearance. It's fine with me. But some people would get really like in their head about it and self-conscious about it. And oh my gosh, this is not what's supposed to happen on a podcast, right?
right.
But we don't roll that way. I don't roll that way. I love it. I think Mystic's hilarious. Maybe sometimes I should let my dog in here, but I don't know. She's pretty big. I don't know.
Right.
Oh
Oh,
gosh. But yeah, no. So here's the thing. Like, and you're probably the only person besides like my family that knows that I'm writing like a book on this subject. And so, like, one of the things that I noticed when I was writing the book that came to me was, you know what I never did from a young age till after coming to the principles and having a shift in consciousness and reflecting on the whole elusive chase of chasing all the external things, because that's what we're doing is we're chasing outside of us, is I never ever in my life did it ever occur to me when all these times I was feeling empty on the inside. So then I'm thinking, okay, well, what do I need to chase on the outside? I never stopped to ask internally, what is it that I'm looking for? We never stopped to think that maybe if we just got quiet and listened inside of us, that might lead somewhere that actually does fulfill. If that,
yes.
Mm,
Well, and it's a funny thing with that, I know in the past when I would get quiet, my head would get loud. Okay. I didn't realize that that was still outside in
yeah,
because that noise comes from everywhere, from everything external. It like comes and creates a camp. And if you're not
absolutely.
careful, you got it starts looking like Seattle with just homeless camps everywhere. And it's
Right.
just all these shitty thoughts that we need this big house, that we need a brand new car, that we need status, that we need. Those aren't even our thoughts.
No, they're not.
Okay, we are told we should want these things, so we should work really hard to achieve these things. But how many of us are happy
Yeah,
doing that, you know, trying to achieve these things that don't even matter?
right.
Because I don't care if you got a 90s car or, a 1990s car or a 2025 car. It could break down just as easily.
Absolutely.
You could get in a wreck. It's gonna, like, the fact that we put so much on this exterior, like, oh, I have to have this and I have to be better than them and I have to, and we're just chasing this illusion
Hmm.
when
Absolutely.
we're able to get past that homeless camp in our head of all those you need this and you need that, and people aren't going to like you if you're you, and because that's that top layer, that loud layer is still outside. It's completely influenced by the outside, but when we can get to the other side of that noise, it's all of a sudden we can see that we don't need all these big fancy things, that sometimes it's just going outside to take a breath of fresh air and getting to witness your dog smelling the flowers.
Absolutely. That happened the other day, and I told Jen about it because I thought it was the coolest thing. Is I went outside and I was on my deck, and I just happened to look down, and she literally, she's a decent sized dog, she's not a little dog, and she literally had her nose in the air in her little snout, right in the end of a flower. And I just took that in, and I was like, oh my gosh. She's like stopping to smell the roses. It wasn't roses, but you know what I mean? She was taking in the moment, and I loved it. It was a cool thing to witness because, she's a dog, just like, Mystic is a cat. And we don't think that inside them anywhere that they might have this, need that they need fulfilled as well. And that they don't have any kind of awareness in the world. And that's just us making assumptions, because that was the most beautiful moment. I loved it. Seeing my dog be present was crazy to me. And on one aspect, like mind blowing. And on the other, I was just like, oh, how perfect. We all need to be more like that, Stop. Slow down. That really pretty purple flower, because there's a purple flower that she's smelling. And it was just, yeah. I'm babbling about it because that's how much I was just like, yeah, I had to call Jen and tell her when it happened.
Well, and it goes to show, everybody can appreciate life. And when we slow down a little bit and stop looking to the outside world to fill us up, we allow that the gift of presence to come up. And then all of a sudden, instead of everything whizzing by because we're going so fast, there's beautiful flower.
Yeah,
Or, and life has a funny way of not giving us a choice sometimes.
that's
My
true.
Saturday was a
Mm,
day. My mom, who it's hard, had been gone for 2 weeks, which is a
yeah,
long, long time for her to be away from home.
yeah.
And I was going to pick her up, filled up one car, stopped back by the house to grab something. My husband put it in park, and then something broke and it wouldn't go into gear anymore. We're like, okay, no problem. Not going to make a big deal. Still got to go get my mom. So we get in my mom's car and we leave. And we get halfway there, and the traction control system just kicks on and is like jerking us around. And at least we were right close to a gas station because we were in the middle of the desert on the freeway or on the highway, and pulled over. And it's like, well, okay, we're not supposed to be going this way today.
Yeah.
And even a year ago, I would have been so stressed, like 2 cars in one day. How am I going to afford this? What's going to happen?
Right.
And instead, it's like, okay, I'm missing something.
I
And I
love
got
that.
quiet and I realized I had been missing going on adventures with my husband, just doodling around, seeing things. And there was not like a thick tension, but there was like miscommunication and feeling unseen between the two of us that
Yeah.
could have very easily turned into resentments. And then 2 cars broke. And that could have very easily been just a shit show fight. And we had so much fun and we laughed. And then we decided we needed to take the next day to go on an adventure together. And we got home, and guess what? My car, it was a plastic clip that broke that connected the link to the gear shifter.
Yeah.
My mom's car, guess what? It's a broken ground wire in the back. Once we fix that, it should be fine. It was just causing it to misfire.
Yeah.
Very easy fixes that I could have let ruin my whole day and then some and caused a fight and stressed my mom out. And instead we got home. It cost us $8 for the tow truck to bring my mom's car back to the house.
Nice.
It was a very simple thing. And had I not had the knowledge to call that out as me chasing, that is me needing to fix it right now,
Yeah.
it would have been horrible. It would have been a horrible experience. And yet, my experience of 2 cars breaking and getting stranded in the desert was a rather enjoyable one.
I love it. I love the point of it. I love that your awareness of the situation instead of getting up in your head and getting, because, yeah, that could be really frustrating. And whoa, that can lead to all kinds of different emotions and fights that would be unnecessary between you and your husband and whatnot. But instead, you have the awareness to say, okay, what's going on? What am I missing? What are you trying to tell me? What is it I'm not seeing? And you saw exactly. And it made it an enjoyable experience. And I can tell you, Jen, I'm not sure of how many people out there would say that they had 2 cars break down in one day and stranded on the highway in the middle of the desert. And it was so fun. It was a great
Right.
time. Right. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty of the principles. That's the beauty of not chasing outside yourself.
Yes.
That's the beauty of just, if you're gonna spend your time and your energy chasing something, chase the inside,
Yeah.
you know?
Chase
Look
the
inside.
peace.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Chase,
I Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, the knowledge of knowing that it's going to be okay, even if it doesn't seem like it. Because I didn't know both cars were going to be an easy fix. I knew both cars were down, and all we had left was Tony's work van, and I don't like it that much. And the first thing he said to me was, "See, I told you we should have took the van."
Yeah, that really could have started something, huh?
Yeah, yeah. In that moment, I really wanted to chase a resentment and
Mhm.
uppercut. Like, Fuck off.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's exactly it. And I want to go back just a little bit because it's these things that we're taught from so young that you need to chase this. And yeah, guys, I get those aren't the words you shouldn't people say to you, but that's what they're presenting. They're presenting, hey, you need this, you need to do this, you want to be happy, you got to do this, and you want to, nowhere in there would someone have said to you, hey, you know what, if you have a really bad day, two cars break down and you're stranded in the desert, just be chill. We don't get that kind of advice. We don't get that kind of guidance as a young child, a young adult, a young, a teenager, whatever. Even into adulthood, we still don't get that kind of, I don't even want to call it advice. We don't get that kind of knowing
Yeah.
until we slow down and allow ourselves to just be. No expectation of ourselves.
No judgment of ourselves. That's a hard one too,
Yeah,
because we are our worst critic,
we are. And
you
we
know,
spend our whole life too doing it. Judging ourselves.
in comparing ourselves.
That's the worst. That's one of the worst ones, for especially young adults and like teenagers. I mean, I know it goes on past that, but like that's really, and maybe it even starts younger nowadays. I don't even know. I think it does because I don't have grandkids yet, so I'm not quite sure, but it does start at a really young age and that comparison. And I mean, sometimes when we're comparing ourselves to somebody, and it's funny because I've heard like, and I don't remember the quote quite exactly, but I've heard it so many times in my life that, when you're comparing yourself to somebody else and like you idolize, so to speak, everything about that person, right? Whatever it is that you think is so wonderful about them. And you think, oh, their life must be perfect, right? They've got everything. I just want if I had what they had, my life would be perfect. Not realizing that that person probably has that same thought pattern somewhere about somebody else, thinking the same exact thing. Maybe not the same exact thing, but the same exact concept of, oh, if I had what that person had, my life would be perfect. Newsflash. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as perfect.
And the thing is, I know quite a few people that have a whole lot more than I do
Mhm.
and don't have that financial struggle and don't have that, you know, never had to decide whether feeding their family or paying the bill was more important.
Right?
And I wouldn't trade my life for theirs for nothing
Yeah.
because I will take those worries instead of the am I good enough? Are they gonna judge all the stuff that fills other, you can have everything in the world and still be miserable
Absolutely.
because until you find the truth in yourself, and that truth is super simple. You are life. You are good enough. You will find a way. Just stop getting in your own way.
Yeah. That's the hardest part. I'm not gonna lie.
Absolutely.
That's the hardest part. Because even when we're fortunate enough to find this beautiful understanding of the three principles, The first thing we do, at least for most of us, so obviously I can't speak for everybody, the first thing we do is get in our own way.
Yep.
At least for me, I know that's what I did. When I came to this understanding, that's the first thing I did was, well, first of all, my intellect threw up all kinds of roadblocks. Like, no, 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 no. Or, even let's rephrase, my ego threw up a bunch of roadblocks. And it wasn't until, I had, a change in conscious awareness that I can see that now. But at first, yeah, no, heck no. Mm-mm. I wanted to be in my own way because I'd been in my own way my whole life, blocking myself, not realizing I'm the one that's doing it. Because when you're living outside in, and that's what the majority of the world does, and it's not a insult to anybody, it's
It's
the
what we're
truth.
taught.
Yes, it is what we're taught innocently to do, is to look outside of us. And yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. So what do you got to say, Jen?
Oh, now you put me on the spot. Okay, you were saying how, like, at first we get in our own way, and we get in our own way, but then, we get it and we're doing it. And that intellect, that ego, that whatever you want to call it, is so sneaky because for me, it's like, well, now my mind isn't full of all the noise and bullshit that it was before. I mean, it might be going on in there, but I could care less. It's
Right.
not loud anymore. It's not overpowering. And that took time of calling it and seeing it for that and giving it the opportunity to move on.
Yeah.
But so now instead of all of that, I still have all of this thinking, and it's positive thinking and going in the right way and going in the, but all of that thinking still gets in my way of being present more than I would like it to. And it's just this weekend and the car breaking and all of the crap that made me realize that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We get, we think that positive thinking, right? And even in the principles, even if, I know that we've had conversations about this before, but even in the principles, when you're trying to be present and be quiet, right? And then you're thinking, okay, well, I know the principles, so I just need to use the principles. And you're telling yourself internally that you need to do something that comes naturally to us if we let go and just release and have faith that the principles are there and they don't need us to guide them. They're guiding us. And but we do it anyway sometimes. We get so worked up in our own minds.
And like try to still take control and lead it because, well, I know the principles and
Mhm.
this is why I'm doing this and this is why I'm doing this because it'll be helpful and but I while going in a positive way and while growing and that's the thing is it that thinking is good until you realize you're caught up in it and don't step back from it.
Yes.
Like I realized I wake up and I check my phone. I check my phone. I check to see if there's any WhatsApp messages. I check to and it's like that is not that is me waking up and despite it being principles based and for my job and for work, that is me waking up and instantly going into thinking.
Yeah. Where
So
here's
what
what
am
I
I
do.
chasing there?
Good question, Jen. So here's kind of what I do when I get up in the morning now. Okay. I do pick up my phone because it's plugged in usually next to the side of my bed. Um, and I glance at notifications and I'll see that there's a notification, you know, certain ones that I know that have to do with the business aspect of what we do. And I'm fine that it's there because that's not where my focus goes. You know, I'll come back to that though for a second, but that's not usually where my focus goes. Usually I will just put that down, make my cup of coffee, and I sit and do my morning like devotional that I do. And until I am feeling ready, and sometimes I give myself a, okay, I'll start work at this time. I don't do it. I don't touch it. Now, there are mornings that that's not true. Okay. There are mornings that I get in my head a little bit. There's mornings where I'm like, I can see that there's like, a bunch of messages, and I'm like, well, crap. What am I, immediately, okay, what am I missing? Am I behind? It's that whole like programming comes in of, oh crap, I'm not doing something I'm supposed to be doing. Oh crap, I'm behind. Oh crap, I need to catch up. What's what? Oh crap, what's the gossip today? I don't know. Fill in the blank because there's a lot of oh craps that can go on that we immediately go right into stuff instead of just giving ourselves time to just be in the mornings. Whether it is, doing a devotional, listening to something inspirational, reading a book, or you know what, just being quiet.
So I've like outside on my back porch around 5:30 in the morning, all of the birds from like this block and the next block that run the alleyway and stuff, they must have like a morning meeting.
I know what you're. That's
Because 5:30 in the morning, I go out and I drink coffee and I try to like, but holy cow, these birds just like going, going, going loud as shit. And it's like, fuck, they got a lot going this morning. I didn't even see them looking for any worms, you know? Like aren't they supposed to be up early to get the worm?
right.
But they're all squawking and then they'll move over to the tree in my backyard and start another little mini one. And then it's like the two groups are yelling back and forth from the tree in the alley and the tree in my yard. But I like starting my morning with their chatter.
I love it.
And then I think one of the hardest parts is not coming up with their backstory. Birds have a mafia system going on. I'm sure of it, okay? Because like we have these bird feeders and we have the little birds that go to it and they can land right on it. And then there's a bunch of dove and pigeons that won't fit on the bird feeder. And they get these medium sized birds, little hookbill birds that can barely fit on the feeder. And it's like they'll call the one over, the pigeons and the doves. And then this one will go and knock all of the bird seed out onto the ground. I mean, yeah. So I have the whole little story made up of how, the hook bill gets paid off by the pigeons and the doves for knocking down the.
I love it. But you know what? If you weren't sitting out there in the mornings and just taking in their chatter and being present and just enjoying like that little show going on, there would not be the creative backstory that you just came up with. Instead, most of the time, somebody would go out and be like, "Oh my, okay, you know what? I'm guilty. I have been mad at birds in the past for being loud in the morning when I'm trying to sleep. Do you know what I'm saying? As if they care what I got going on. They don't care. Like you said, they got their own little system going on, their own little bird mafia, their own little, I love it, their own little chatter. But
Yep.
yeah,
But the birds' chatter helps me quiet down.
yeah,
Because when I wake up and instantly go to my phone, because I wake up and I feel like I'm behind a lot of times because the two
Time
people
zone.
I'm in business with, one's 2 hours ahead, which that's fine, I can get caught up, but the other one 8 hours ahead.
Yeah.
So that's like a combined 10 hours when I wake up and the two of you are going. And it's like, oh, I'm behind. I'm so far behind already. And then I'm in my head and I'm not as productive and I'm not as present. But when I go have my coffee with my husband and listen to the birds and watch their little soap opera going on, because like there's some that'll fly from the bush in the alley over to our tree and there'll be like a ruckus and then it'll fly back and then there'll be, so he's like trying to negotiate between the two tribes, you know.
I love it. I love it because yeah, in the mornings, in the afternoons, I like to sit on my. I mean, I do go out in the mornings for sure, but I like to sit on my deck in the afternoon because it's shaded then,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's a lot cooler out. It's usually breezier in the afternoon, and yeah, I like to watch the birds too. I like to because they got something going on, man. I've thought that before too. Not the whole mafia system thing, but I always I've often wondered like what's up with them, right? Like what I know this podcast has gone off a little bit, but we're talking about birds right now. And because I have often wondered like what are they talking about? Why are those two over there arguing with each other? Because I've seen the birds doing it.
Yep.
Like, one's squawking at the other one's squawking. They're flying. They're like chasing each other around, and one's yelling, and the other one comes back. And oh my gosh, it's quite the show. If you
Right.
ever, if you just stop and drop all your bullshit and just kind of look around and be present outside, it's really quite interesting what goes on in the world around us. And I'm not talking about all the negative stuff that I could go turn on my TV and with the news and get caught up on, or pick up my phone and pretty much open any app and I'm sure I can find something negative really fast. I'm talking about the beauty that comes from being present in nature, in no not immersing yourself in any type of negativity, just being and seeing the other things that we're connected with, like the birds,
Yep.
like the sun, the clouds. I love to stare at the clouds too.
And the trees, when you can feel the breeze, and the cool thing. So, the cool thing about going out in nature and not being around just buildings is because then you're surrounded by things with consciousness.
Yeah.
And then when we get quiet enough, it's almost like our consciousness can deepen and take in theirs, that they are conscious, that is, yeah, it's a tree, but it's a living thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
without it, we would not be here. It's all part of that cycle. Like it breathes in our waste and gives us life.
Absolutely.
And
Think
it's
about
this,
that for a minute.
yeah,
Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but that was
no,
just, yeah. I mean, that's a beautiful point. And yeah, most of the time most of the time we get, okay, guys, here's another one. I've gotten mad at trees too. I actually, I've gotten really mad at trees when it comes to different aspects, but when we're talking in general, in the past, dang, I hate raking leaves.
yeah,
It's not fun. It's not fun. At least for me, it's not fun.
no.
Some people it might be. It's not fun for me. So yeah, no, and not to, I've never really just thought about that, even though I know that intellectually that that's what happens. They take in our waste and they give us life. But I just never, it's never hit me quite the way it just did when you said it. So now when I watch my deck this afternoon, I'm going to appreciate those trees a little bit more. on a deeper level than I normally do. Because, yeah, they are alive too. They do sustain our life.
Yeah.
Or, that is a cool point. I don't know. I love it. I'm happy that you're here. So, just any final thoughts on like the elusive chase, Jen? The thing, it's so pretend.
Whatever you're
It's
chasing, whatever name you want to put on it, whatever face you want to give it, you will never find it outside of yourself.
absolutely. And you know what? I think we're going to end it right there because I don't think I can make a better point than that. So, yeah, that's the end of it today. So, yeah, welcome to my beautiful new co host, Jen.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here and so excited just for this. So thank you
Yeah,
for having me.
no problem. And hey, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time. Hey, don't forget to stop and ask yourself on the inside, what are you chasing?